Hi everyone, and welcome to my craft room. Apologies for everyone who saw the event invite. I'm actually a little bit early with this one. I said 4 o'clock and it's just gone 20 to 4. But anyway, it's quiet here at the house at the moment, and that doesn't happen very often, so I thought I'd grab it while I could. For everyone who watched last week, my puppy dog Rosie went in for an operation during the week, and she's actually asleep at the moment. So while she is asleep, I will get in and do this video. So hello everyone who catches up live, and hello everyone who watches on replay. For anyone who knows Rosie, yes, she has come out of her operation well. She's an old dog, she's nearly 11, so we were a bit worried about general anaesthetic, but she seems to have come out of that really well. So fingers crossed for a full recovery. Oh, hi Chrissy, hi Kay. I'm just trying to get my iPad to catch up with where I am. It takes a little while sometimes. Just bear with me for a second. Oh, here we are. Cool. So I'm watching along as well. Okay, yeah, no, so Rosie's good. She's very sore and she's very shaved, which looks really weird. But she's, yeah, hopping along on her reconstructed knee, which is great. Anyway, right, so today I'm going to make this, hi Carol, thanks for joining me. I'm going to feature some products out of the 2019 Occasions and Saleabrations catalogues. I have my copies of these catalogues now. For the lucky ladies who are on my mailing list, I have posted these off to you already, so hopefully they'll get to you sometime over the next few days. Maybe not before Christmas, but definitely just after. So anyone else who would like a copy of these and doesn't have an active demonstrator, just drop me a line and I'll be happy to pop them in the mail for you. There's some really nice stuff. It's actually quite nostalgic for me. I joined Stamping Up during the last celebration just over a year ago, and yeah, so it's quite nostalgic for me to watch it come around again and realise that I've been with the company for nearly a year. So yay, happy birthday me. Anyway, so I'm going to be, as I say, featuring products out of these. As a demonstrator, we can buy these products a little bit early, but for customers they're available from the 3rd of January. Celebration goes through to the end of March, and the Occasions Catalogue is available through to the end of June, I think, or the beginning of June. Yeah, sometime in June. I think it's the end of June. Anyway, so I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot before the time comes. So I'll just pop those out of the way. What I'm going to be doing is a card featuring this lovely Tea Together stamp set, which is it looks like it's themed around Mother's Day, but could be used for any sort of feminine occasion, birthday, etc. And so the Tea Together set is actually in the Occasions catalogue, and the framelits that go with it is one of the bonus items in the Celebration catalogue. So, and I think you actually have to spend $180 to get these framelits, but I think when you see me using them, you'll realise that they're worth it. So, okay, so starting with this, I'm also using, out of the Occasions catalogue, some beautiful paper out of called the Floral Romance paper. It's got some lovely, obviously, floral designs in it. There's a really nice green leaves, which is what I'm going to be using today, which has got some lovely sort of salmon pink on the back. But it's also got, and this is a bonus, a couple of sheets of printed vellum. So this one's got some beautiful leaves and flowers on it. And the thing I really find wonderful with vellum, it depends what you put behind it. It takes different character. So say I put this green one behind it, you see the greens come out, you know, with more prominence. If you turn it around, you get more of the pinks in more prominence. And if you say put white behind it, the colours sort of stand for themselves, are quite quite clear and beautiful. There's a couple of different vellums in this pack, which is really, really nice, and that's in the Occasions catalogue as well. Okay, so what I'm starting with today is a piece of this lovely green designer series paper. This piece is 3.5 inches by 12 inches. And when you choose the paper to use for this, choose something that you like both sides of, because you will see the pattern from the other side. I'm going to be actually pleating this up to make a sort of what they call a concertina pleated card. Okay, so as I say, 3.5 inches by 12. Get your favourite scoring implement. It could be a scoreboard, or it could be, whatever your tool of choice is. And I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this. I might have to position it a little bit higher than I normally would. Hang on. How else to do this? Turn around, I reckon. Turn around so it's at the top. So you'll have to forgive me because I'm going to be backhanded to my usual positioning on this. Hi Mari, thanks for joining me, and thanks for sharing, Chrissy and Kay. Okay, so as I say, we've got a 12-inch piece of designer series paper here. So what we're going to do is take our middle point, which obviously for a 12-inch piece is at the 6-inch mark, and score 1/2 inch either side of that 6-inch mark. So obviously at 6.5. So as I say, we're heading towards a pleat. So 6.5 that side, and then if you go the 5.5 mark there, my scoreboard doesn't like it when I score at 5.5, so I just have to be a little bit careful because that's where the seam in it is. Okay, so we've got a score there, an inch, 2 score lines an inch apart with 6 inches in the centre of them. Don't worry guys, I'll put this in my blog after I've finished with more detailed instructions. Okay, so that's an inch, so we need another one at 1/2 inch either side, so that's at 7, and then another one at 5. So there we've got an inch and 2 1/2-inch ones. You're not going to be able to see this in the light anyway, but trust me. So then we're going another inch, so we go at 4. So basically what you're ending up with is alternating scores at inch intervals and 1/2-inch intervals. So that's an inch there, so I do another 1/2-inch one, and then another inch one, and then another 1/2-inch one, and then another inch one. So just go, so we've got another inch there, but you won't need to do that one. And at the other end, so we've got a 1/2-inch one there, so I need another inch one, another 1/2-inch one, another inch one, yep, 1/2 inch, and an inch. Okay, so they are actually symmetrical, so either side of our 6-inch mark. So I don't know, let's move that into the sun so you might be able to see the shadows of the scores. I'm not sure, I'll see. Maybe not. You guys will just have to trust me. We've basically got score marks at inch and 1/2-inch intervals all the way along, centered on the halfway mark of the paper. You'll see it in a minute because I'm going to actually fold it now. I'll just take this away and I'll put myself on my chair. Okay, so now we're going to be folding it to form our pleat. Oh, well, first of all, we're eventually going to form our pleat. We need to actually cut some an angle here so that we get a really nice effect. So bear with me, you'll like it when you see it, I promise. So what we need to do, and I'll use my other non-named little guillotine for this, starting at the center inch mark, which is this one here, and taking it to, and I should have measured that off, taking it to the halfway of that down this angle, this end here. So I'll fold it, just fold it here to get the halfway mark on that edge. There we go, so that's a halfway there. So from there to the edge of the middle there is where I want to cut. just a wedge out of it. So from there to there, just bear with me and I'll cut that. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Hoping I've got the right one. Yep, I do. And then same thing on the other edge. So halfway along there. And from the other end of the 6-inch mark, the 6-inch first 6-inch mark there. Okay, so hopefully you'll see what I mean there. I've cut it into sort of a triangle. You've left the centre one uncut and taken the two cuts from there to the centre of each side. So you've got sort of an airplane wing sort of piece of paper. Anyway, so now I'll start folding. So basically you're going to take, and I've got to remember myself now, basically you're going to take the first one, you know, deciding which side of the paper you want to feature most. You take it over, lining it up, and then you fold it back. And so that forms your pleat. And then you bring it back. So that's on the next inch. Make sure it's nice and straight. And fold it, and then fold it back. So here we go. We see you forming a pleated look. And then back on the next inch. And then back. And then this is the last one. So this is the one where we had an inch and then we had the left there. So you actually take that around the back, just there, just to clean it off nicely. Okay, so then we do the same thing on the other side. You fold it over and back and over, making sure it's nice and lined up at the top, and back and over, lining it up again. Has anyone joined us? Oh, hi Sherry, how are you? Nice to see you here. And back, and again this last one just tucks under to the back. Okay, so what we've got here is quite pretty. It's actually the, well, I think it is, it's the paper. The main paper that we've got is the green, so that's most of our front, but where each of these little folds are, you see a peak of the pink from underneath. So that's why I meant you should probably make sure you like both sides of the paper, because with this one you actually see both bits of it sneaking through. Thankfully with Stampin' Up paper, the opposite sides of the DSP tend to coordinate with each other, so that's really good. So you don't have to do too much thinking about it. Okay, so you just fold all these down, and I'm going to score them so they lie considerably, just mostly flat. Okay, so now what I would do, or what I will do, is get some double-sided tape or some tear tape and actually put it on the back. So one layer at the top of the folds, and this just keeps all your pleats nice and flat. I'll find my scissors. You're relaxing. Well, the sound of everything, Sherry, that you've got going on with your young people, you should be relaxing whenever you can. Some tear tape there and halfway down. Yes, I've had a pretty lazy day too. Thought I was getting my hair cut today, but I actually realised the appointment was for next week, so I've had a lazy day instead. Okay, so there we have the pleats, which I think that's really sweet, and thankfully it is pretty much the perfect width for one of our cards there. So that's one I've made. I have actually got one here that I made earlier that I'll use to keep going with the card, but that's the main feature of the card that I'm doing. So hopefully that's not too complicated, and as I say, I will put the instructions on my blog. Here we go. So the card I'm making today using this uses a base card, normal size base card of 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, scored in the middle to form a 4 1/8 inch wide base card. Over that I will layer a panel of, now this one is not petal pink, it's supposed to be petal pink because that's the colour that coordinates with our DSP, but I didn't have petal pink, so I'm using pretty much, I think that is Blushing Bride, something that's close. Anyone who has a good eye will actually see that it doesn't quite match when I get it together, but it's close enough and very pretty. Okay, so I have the base card with the Mossy Meadow. The next layer is the Pretend Petal Pink, and this is the pleat that I made earlier. So you can see that's just going to fit pretty just on there like that. Then what I've got as well is a small panel, and I think this one is 2 inches by 4 inches of the other side of our DSP, so the pink side of our DSP. I'm just going to put that at the top there, just to give that top a little bit of a feature. And then our concertina, our fan, is below there. Actually, I might as well, I'll make this up while I go since I'm here. Just bear with me, I'll get some glue. Just pop that on there. Nerf guns, oh my goodness me, they are popular. I can imagine them squirting each other. Is it warm enough for them to shoot each other with water and you don't have to worry too much? I know it's absolutely freezing down here in Hobart at the moment, so I think any Nerf guns would be banned at the moment. It'd give them all pneumonia. Here we go. So there we've got a panel of Pretend Petal Pink onto our Mossy Meadow. Then what I'm going to do is get my little fan. And so I've already got the 2 pieces of double-sided tape on the back here. I can just rip them off. So they serve a double purpose. They keep your pleats nice and flat, and then you can actually use them to attach your pleat to your card. So just leaving a nice little space at the bottom, lining it up as well as I can with the panel. I'll just attach that on there. So this top one that I've popped that on after, that actually keeps the pleats nice and flat from the front side. So then I've got this little panel of the other side of my DSP, so I'll pop that. Oh, the foam bullets, oh, I see. Yes, that's probably better, although maybe not. I can hear my mother say, you'll take an eye out with that. Anyway, it's all good. So we're putting this piece of, small piece of DSP just at the top there, and I've got a little bit of a, I've designed that so it's got a little bit of a gap around the top there with the pink. And if you can see properly, you can see my 2 pinks don't line up exactly, so that's all right. I won't tell if you guys don't. So I'll just remove the backing from the double-sided tape here just before that glue dries. I probably should have done them the other way around. Okay, so that's the start of this card. It's not finished yet. There's quite a bit going on with this card. I've probably designed it a little bit busy for some tastes, but I think it showcases some of the products really, really well. Okay, so I said we were going to be using this pretty vellum, printed vellum here, and I'm going to use it to sort of hide that join at the top there. And I have got, I think that's 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches, that little panel there. And I've got a panel of the pink, which is the same length, but 1/8 of an inch wider. So I'm going to attach that to the paper there. And you can see that makes the, backing it on the pink sort of brings the greens to the fore, which is really pretty. Anyway, so a lot of people struggle with attaching vellum to cardstock, but what I actually do is, and you need a fair bit of glue, I'll tell you that up front. You actually pop your glue on, and this is the problem with vellum, because sometimes you can see whatever you use to attach it, you can see it through if you use glue dots, if you use dimensionals. So what I actually do is put the glue on and then sort of spread it or dot it with my sponge. Excuse the shaking camera. So it gives it like an adhesive back. Oh, it curls up. And then you can attach it like a sticker to your cardstock. Now, because you've done that, it doesn't move as well, so you have to sort of be pretty comfortable and confident with the positioning of it straight off. And there, that's quite pretty there, I think. Oh, some screaming happening, the kids next door playing. Okay, so I'm going to actually put that over there just to cover the join between the DSP and my little pleat. So I'll pop that on as well. Oh, bloop. Okay, so there we go, just above there and there. So that's quite pretty, I think, if I do say so myself. Yeah, not quite straight though, but that's okay. Oh, that's it, that's better. Okay, so there's our pretty little pleat and some DSP there. So, but that's not all. That's not all at all. What I thought I would also do is use I haven't used the stamp set at all yet. So from this Tea Together stamp set, I'm going to make a little feature for the front of this card. So what I've actually got, if you use some Whisper White, let's face it, we've all got Whisper White. I've got their cute little teacup here, and if you get some Memento, I'm going to move that out of the way before I make a mess. If you get some Memento Black and just give that a little bit of a ink up. You want one of these little teacups, so I'll just stamp that. Lots of vibrating happening. Okay, one little teacup, and then there is this cute little Happy Mother's Day stamp, even though I know Mother's Day is in May. Anyway, I'll be nice and ready for it. So Happy Mother's Day. Now, you've got to trust me on this. It does actually fit perfectly on the cup, but you have to position it pretty carefully. So it took me a few times of trial and error before to actually get it to go on. We'll see how we go here. Cool, there you go. So that fits on your cup pretty perfectly. Okay, so what I'm going to colour my cup is, I've got the actual petal pink here, so the cup is in the right colours. So I've got dark petal pink and light petal pink. So what I thought I'd do is, using my dark petal pink, I'll put some highlights on, or some shadow, just where you think your normal teacup would have shadows. So I thought maybe down the side here there would be shadows there on one side. Maybe the handle would be in shadow. And this is such a light colour. I don't know if you guys can even see that going on. Yeah, you can just a bit. Okay, so that would be sort of shadowy there, and probably in the saucer here down below, that would be shadowy from the cup and underneath. So we'll take that all, and the shadows would probably stop around there if they were. I reckon probably that bit would be shadowy as well. Okay, so there. And so with our light, I will just blend that in out to the other side where the light would be falling directly. So this is a really soft colour. Actually, when I first opened the pen, I thought it had run out of ink because it was just coming out so softly. But it's just so pretty. And I'll blend it in here. It blends really well too. It's quite strange. Some of them take a little bit of effort to blend them, even with these wonderful blends, but this one blends really well. Hi Wendy, thanks for jumping on. Sorry I'm a little bit early. Things are quiet here with my puppy dog. She's asleep, so I thought I'd jump on a bit early while she's asleep after her operation on Tuesday. Okay, so that's the cup there. You'll notice I haven't actually bothered colouring in this little lip here, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm going to cut that one out with my thinlits, which are here. There's the cup there. Just bear with me. Go over here, out of shot a little bit. Okay, so I'm just reading the comments at the same time. Thanks, guys. Just cutting this one out with there. Oh, I think bear with me. That's right, I've cut that one wrong. That's all right, I have created one. I've got one here I created earlier, so I'll skip to that. This is basically the little cup. And you can see what I mentioned before, I hadn't bothered colouring in that little lip, and that's because I have actually cut it. I've cut it away, and you'll see why I've done that fairly shortly. So I've got a little cup there, which I'm actually going to pop onto our card around there eventually. What I'm going to do first is fill the cup with some pretty flowers from the set as well. Again, with a little bit of Whisper White, which I can't find. Where's my Whisper White gone? Oh, yeah, this one here. I'll use this one. Waste not, want not. Okay, so with that one, I have got the flowers from the set here, and again in black, you need one of the large flowers. I'll call them roses, I assume. Everything seems to be roses. So one of those. There's a smaller little bloom here. You need two of those. And the cutest little bud with two little buds there. I need two of those as well. Cool. So again, I'm going to colour those with the petal pink, the light and the dark. For the leaves, I've used dark old olive, which is a favourite of mine. And for the insides, I've used light daffodil delight, just for the sake of having a bit of colour in there. So again, with the dark petal pink, I've sort of just assumed where, you know, think about in a flower where the shadows would be. So the shadows would be sort of around the middle, in the edges, in the centres, sort of where they overlap each other, that sort of area. And I've just highlighted those with the darker petal pink. Okay, and then with the light one, you don't even have to be very careful with that, as long as you just don't go over the edges, you just colour that all around. Now, as I say, this is such a pale, beautiful colour, it's very hard to see, but you'll just have to trust me that the dark colours do give it a nice 3D, a nice shaded effect. With our beautiful blends, it's a lovely effect that's quite easy to achieve there. Okay, so that one's quite nice, and I don't know if you can see it, but it does have the light and the dark of a real 3D rose. Anyway, I won't make you sit here and watch me colour in. I have actually done those ones already. So we've got our rose in our dark and light petal pink with olive, dark old olive leaves, and two of the little flowers and two of the little buds. And I have actually done a bit of Wink of Stella on the flowers. I think there's one I haven't done yet. That's this one here. Get rid of these. So just a little bit of Wink of Stella, just to give them a little bit of bling, a little bit of twinkle. Cool. Okay, so that's very nice. Hey Angie, thanks for joining me. Thanks for sharing too. Okay, so I've got my flowers. I've got the large one, the two small, and the two glorious little buds. And my where's my cup? Here we go. I have my cup here that I've also coloured in the petal pink, and cut the lid off, so to speak. So what I'm now going to do is position my flowers so that they look like they're coming out of our cup. So I think I'll put the big one there. So I'll just use a tiny bit of glue just on the very edge of that one. Ooh, tiny bit of glue, no such thing. And pop that on so it's just peeking out of the top of the cup. So you can see there why I've cut that off, because you want it to make it look like it's in the cup rather than, rather than on top of it. Then with my two little buds here, I'm going to pop those on either side, just a bit of glue. So I'm going to put them so they look like they're sort of cascading out a little bit, one on one side. Thanks Margaret, that's never too late to share, never too late to share. And that one there, and I do beg forgiveness because I have gone early because of the fact that my girl was my puppy dog was asleep, but she's just started yipping, so I think she's woken up, so we'll have to finish off here pretty quickly. I don't usually somebody's just tapped me on the shoulder. Hello child, are you going to work?
I'm going to haircut.
You going where? Yeah. Oh, your haircut. Okay, my youngest's just going to get his haircut. Okay, so I've got those two. Actually, I might bring that one, just my dog barking has put me off a bit. Bring that one down a little bit and just get rid of that glue off there. Cool, so we've got those. And then I thought the two little buds, one might sort of peek over the back here. So I'll pop that one there. And the other one, I had a little bit of an idea with that, which I thought was quite cute. Have this one sort of peeking up over the back, sort of nice, gives it a little bit of height. And the other one, I thought I might pop down here so it looks like it's fallen off into the saucer, just for something a little bit different. Pop that there. Cool. So what do we think about that? It's quite cute, quite Mother's Day-ish. I don't know about everyone else's, but my mum loves her roses. There we go. So that's there. So that one, I think we'll position that on our card. I thought probably off to the side there a little bit, just for some interest. And I'll pop that on dimensionals and use this one off. So I'll pop the little card on dimensionals, just bear with me. I'm using the ends of my dimensionals, as we say, never waste them just because they're not the hexagon, the full hexagon. So I'll cut them off, position them around. Oh, it's just started raining here. Great. Up here, here, and I'll just put one tiny little piece under that bud so it's supported a little bit. There we go. Yes, ready for a posh afternoon tea. You'd have to remove the flowers first, Kay, but yes, I think those colours are just to die for. I'm not usually a pink person, but I do like this combo. Just removing the back of those. Nope, getting them everywhere. That's it. We'll pop that on there, just so it doesn't, that's sort of central on the little band of vellum. Cool. So what do we think of that? It's quite sweet. So happy Mother's Day. You could make that happy birthday. You could leave that blank. I think on a previous version I actually just stamped one of those little flowers in the centre there, and then put my sentiment up here in the corner. That was one I made for our team leader Donna for the most recent stamps card swap we had. So she's obviously not my mother, so I did that one for her. But I think that's quite sweet for Mother's Day there. You could add some bling down the bottom here if you wanted to, but I think that's quite sweet. So for the inside, I think, as I say, there's a fair bit going on at the front, so I thought I'd like to keep the inside fairly simple. I've just got a panel of Whisper White cut to 4 inches by 5 5/8, and the sentiment in this is quite sweet. The aim of our lives is, I don't know about you guys, but the aim of my life is always to make my mother cry on Mother's Day from, you know, tears of joy, and this one's going to work very well this year. Our love is one that covers years, through love's joys and sometimes tears, a bond that stands the test of time, mother and daughter, hearts entwined. That's going to bring out the waterworks, no worries at all. Okay, so this one, that's the sentiment there. Now you guys will know I have actually put the clinging, these are the new cling stamps that Stampin' Up has introduced for the Occasions Catalogue, and I have actually put the sticker on the back of that, so I'd never actually realised that I've done it, so that's stuck really well to the plastic case there. So let's have a look and see what it does on the actual block. I have a feeling it's going to stick very, very well. Yeah, that's well and truly stuck on there. So anyone who's ever had any problems with the rubber stamps before and getting them to stick to your block, those problems are now over because these are very clingy. I think I've actually read on several sites that people have issues getting them off again, and what is actually suggested is that you start from the corner and peel very, very carefully, and you can see that's come off fine. So just be careful with as we get used to these going forward. Okay, so I'm just going to do that in black. So the good thing is now I can see where my writing is, whereas before I didn't used to bother putting the stickers on the back of them, and you never knew which way up was you were supposed to be going or where to position it. So that's great, problem solved. Thank you, Stampin' Up. So I'll just put that in the middle there. Oh, crooked. Okay, turn over. Wasn't quite as, there you go, rewind. Forget everything I just said about lining things up. Obviously it's not that easy. Never that easy when you're doing it with people anyway. That's the same. Anyway, doesn't matter. If I was having another go, I'd do it properly. Okay, and I thought just as a little highlight for that, I would pop this cute little single flower just to bring the theme from the front into the card. I'd pop this little flower just under there, and then also colour it with my petal pink and old olive. So here's the old olive in the leaves. Or you could just leave it. You could leave it white. I think it's actually quite nice just left blank. I might make him petal pink, the dark petal pink all over, I think, rather than shading it. There we go. And as I said, I've just used some light Daffodil Delight, wrong end, in the centre, just to give it a little bit of a, whatever that part is. Cool, so that's the centre of my card, and I'll just pop that in there. Might not just do it now because it's crooked, but you get the picture. If it wasn't crooked, it'd go in there straight away. Okay, so that's that one there. That's the Floral Romance DSP with the vellum and the beautiful, cute little cup from the Tea Together stamp set from the Occasions Catalogue, using the framelets, which are a bonus item in Saleabration from the 3rd of January through to the end of March. So as I say, if you want both of them, probably you need to order the right amount to actually get the framelets. But, you know, that's not too much of a problem for me anyway. Okay, so that's my card for today. I hope you like that one. I really like that pleating of the DSP. I get sick of just putting straight paper on cards sometimes, so it was quite nice to have a little bit of a 3D effect happening there with that one. I quite like that. Might keep that in the cupboard for Mother's Day when it comes along in May. Okay, so that's enough for me today. As I said, I can hear my puppy dog calling me, so she must be ready for her dinner and her medication. Have a nice weekend. Have a nice Friday, everybody. As I said at the beginning of the video, if anyone hasn't got an active demonstrator and would like to grab copies of the Occasions Catalogue and the Saleabration Catalogue, believe me, there is some really good free stuff in there for when you buy. But Saleabration is also a great time to join as a demonstrator. The bonuses you get for that during that 3 months, the 3 months to the end of March, you know, make it all worthwhile. Even if you don't want to sell, you get extra free items, which are, you know, just great just to use for yourself. Anyway, as I get, great weekend. Have a great weekend, and I will see everyone next week. Okay, thanks. Bye, guys.